My name is Matt Davis, and I am with the Ehamiotaid project.
Can you tell me a little bit about your own mental health journey?
Yeah. Well, it's been a long one. It's been one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with in my life. The stigma, the suffocating stigma of mental health, the pride and arrogance of people, willful ignorance sometimes, you know. I mean, some people just they only add to the challenge and everything. My battle started around when I was 5 or 6 years old, up until about I was 16 or 17. They was treating a psychiatric issue. We came later to discover that it was Tourette's syndrome. So yeah, so that's what I deal with is Tourette's syndrome. And from that comes all the mental health issues. So, but it's been a long journey because they didn't know very much about Tourette's and stuff back in the late 70s, early 80s and stuff. They only treated symptoms like if you was blurting out cuss words. And I never done that, so they never even considered Tourette's one time until new studies started to come out. And then it's like, oh man, we put this guy through the ringer. So, yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit about the project?
Yeah. The Ehamiotaid project. Well, some of the notes that I've gotten stuff is it's an innovative move. I mean, it's a dare to move, a challenge to those in the mental health profession and to all humans that exist because we all deal with issues. Revolution or revival, provoking and instigating, challenging the world to talk about mental health, open and honest, as me and you're talking now, table talk,
Yeah.
Something we sit at anywhere. We can sit around supper and talk about it, whatever, you know. The suffocating stigma of mental health it's suffocating the life out of us. The suicide rate's not going down. It's just, I see it's time for something different. Ehamiotaid is sometimes controversial and unorthodox, but it's not the normal way one sees most people advocating. I'll put it that way. I mean, they're speaking about mental health. I kind of think of it as like maybe some names that I've heard in rock and roll before, like the Beatles, U2, Alice Cooper. People was hesitant to give them world changers a chance. People are starting to get on board with the Ehamiotaid, and once people give it a chance and they kind of start to get it, and it's a process. So I go to wherever somebody will let me speak, to the most unlikely places I've been to, and that's just where I want to keep going to, because everybody can't afford to go to a convention center some weekend and pay money they don't have. Let's just be honest, to sit and listen to somebody tell them how they feel because it was something they learned from a book. I'm dealing with real life experience. And so, I try to kind of take the bull by the horns and you know, tackle it. So everyone has a mental issue or they're in denial. That's the acronyms for Ehamiotaid. So that's where that all come from. I was able to just get creative, and that's just the whole thing. It's just I'm loving the way that it's just all come together. My wife and I, we travel in an RV. We sold our house, and like I said, we go around to diverse places. And I'm disabled from Tourette's. I don't have a doctorate degree or diploma. I have experience. I don't charge a fee for this. It's just way too important to put a price tag on. We're talking about people's lives. So I don't charge. And, we just get around to places and do what we can. A few of the things that we focus on and have fun with is the everyone has a mental issue or they're in denial. We have that on a shirt and we get a lot of conversations. Just, my mission does not stop when I put down a microphone and walk off from the general public. I'm not changing my voice when I get up there and speak and becoming some different character. My wife deals or suffers with me 24/7. I'm like this. So, but no, we wear the shirts because we want to take the message further, into a grocery store where somebody will see that shirt and it will provoke and instigate something in them to talk right there on the spot, or it's going to trigger something in their mind, and sooner or later they're going to have to try to go to sleep that night. So, yeah. Oh, I wrote a book too, and it's free also. So I'll give information about that later.
Okay, perfect. So
Yeah,
how
some of the
how
I
is
just
it?
going to say some of the ways that we do
Yeah.
go out and advocate is, I go out myself to different places and I'll speak, and that's one thing. And then there's times that I've created what is called an open mic, and that's where people come with whatever they've got to bring to the table or microphone that night, but it's surrounding mental health, whatever they've got to say. It's all surrounding mental health. And where that all came from was I was speaking at a punk show and a guy approached me and asked me, and he's like taking my mic from me, can I talk? And you just don't hand everybody a microphone, man.
Yeah,
so
true.
I had to check with the, people running the stuff, and they said sure. And he just started talking and opening up about he's dealing with mental health. He's never talked about it. This was the first time he's talked about it, and he needs to get in some, you know, support groups and getting some help. And just hearing me talk encouraged him to talk. And so now he's, took that step. So that really encouraged. I was like, wow, that's what we need is people to just take the microphone and say something. I have a lot of spectators, not always participators, but I also see a lot of the spectators come to the mic unexpectedly and they feel compelled to share what's going on. I'll also do mental health awareness rock shows or whatever music event it wants to be. A day with live bands, and the focus is we're drawing attention to mental health. And we can do the open mic also in the middle of that, and it just turns into a party at that point.
So what do you do to help your own mental health?
Well, I've had to look into some of that, and I've come the best, writing a book that really took and opened up a lot of different avenues for my mind. I had to come and do a lot of realities with a lot of things because I'm like, wow. But the theme has been around help others. That's I remember sitting on my doctor's couch, as a kid, and help others. It's kind of the whole lean on me thing. So I remember age 17, I booked my first band to come to town and you know, just support in that way. And that's really been what I've done up until around 2018. We started the Ehamiotaid project, and you know, that's kind of what happened. So it's a theme of helping others. If you read the book, that's something I come full circle with, is that's a theme, that's always been there. And even talking with my doctors is help others. So I'm continuing that right now as I go out to the streets and speak. I don't want anybody to think that all of the things that happened to me, as a guinea pig or whatever, was in vain, because it's not. My doctor went on to write journals that was the Matt journal, on things that worked and didn't work. And he passed them along to colleagues. And that's gone on to help other people in that manner as well. So that's more or less what I try to do with my mental health. So
What is it like sharing your story with others?
I love it. I love to get up and talk and share, because it's liberating. It's truly, it's liberating to be able to talk about it, and that's what people, once, an example is we was in New York doing an open mic on that part of New York, in the street there, in an alley. And there was this girl there. She was just comatose the whole time, didn't move, nothing whatsoever. Whatever compelled her to pull out $1, she did, and walked over and gave it to my wife. I didn't know nothing about all that till later, but after that, she come over and where the mic was, and she just grabbed the microphone and yelled, "I'm bipolar." And it just echoed and resounded, and she just kind of starts dancing. This girl that was comatose didn't move the whole night, but it was like it liberated. So, I encourage people to talk about it when I speak. I don't do the normal quote unquote sad story. If you shed a tear while I'm speaking, I'm hoping it should be from laughing, because I mix comic relief into it, and hope for the future. There's no need to focus on what has happened. It's what's going to, what we're going forward for, and just changing changing the way people view it. So, because if you think about it, if we're the majority, and if everyone has a mental issue, then we're obviously majority. We've been lied to. We're not the minority. So we rule, and we just need to fight against the stigma. I know it's always going to be around, because there's always going to be those kind of people that are just going to want to, be that way and refuse to play nicely, for lack of a better word. But, we really, I guess we just have to take it back and do it our own way, I guess. Just something different, because, and it's nothing against churches, it's nothing against mental health folks or anything, but I'm going to be 51, and I've never known that the suicide rate has started to drop, because they found something that works.
Do you see the stigma of talking about mental health lessening?
Uh, I will, for the benefit of the doubt, I'll say in ways yes, or I hope it is.
Yeah.
But at times I have my doubts. Is it more real out there in the world now and more people recognize it? Is that because they are doing that, or there's more people in the world now to make up for that? I don't know. I don't know. So I've ran into some pretty ignorant people. So when it comes to it, and honestly, sometimes it's not intentional ignorance. It's just plain old lack of knowledge.
Right.
And and it's just innocent. And I understand that. I mean, nobody should claim they're not ignorant in some way, shape, or form, because I don't know everything.
What would you say to anyone going through a tough time right now?
Oh, well, it's life. I mean, it is what it is. It's tough, it's rough, it's a roller coaster ride. Hold on tight, change is up ahead, and you know, keep your hands in the cart at all times. Enjoy the ride, look out for speed bumps and expect plot twist. So, but it's I believe it'll be okay. So there is definitely hope, and you can make it, no doubt. And the world's a better place with you in it.